Well, can you tell me? I mean, tell me about this, like building these relationships nationwide. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you get those connections? Like, do you have to be a people person?
I kind of stumbled into it, to be perfectly honest, at my first family reunion in 2017. I think my office had somehow referred me to another agent. Like, an agent had called in the office, and that agent was looking for somebody to refer a client to, and our office like distributed it out to me. And so I got to know that agent a little bit, and he was really, really well connected into kind of like referral networks and that sort of stuff. So at that first family reunion I went to in Vegas, I think that was 2017, he invited me to an event, and at that event I met probably a half dozen or a dozen agents that I still know to this day.
Wow.
And that I still refer to, or I'm in relationship with, or just like really built out networks through some of those folks. So that was really critical in building out that.
I really want to buy this. Wrote him an offer.
Paid
I had
like
no clue
50 or something for it.
They paid like third.
And all those other...
Yeah, I put it on TikTok, I put it on Instagram, depending on the video.
Hey guys, welcome to the Realized Gains podcast. I'm Stephen Tran.
And I'm your co-host, Jordan Lee, and we're super excited to have Megan Jumago on the podcast. Sorry about that. I just said it and messed it up. Do you mind just like giving us your background and kind of like, you know, how you got where you are today? I don't know if you're from Oregon or from the Portland area. And
yeah, for sure. Grew up in Portland, Tigard area, so southwest.
Wow,
suburbs.
Portland native.
Yep.
Love it.
One of the few. I feel like we don't run into a lot of us anymore.
I mean, I'm a Portland native, so.
We're
Northeast Portland.
So I grew up in southwest Portland and Tigard, graduated from Tigard High School, and
nice.
then left for about a decade, went to college, and then lived abroad for a while, then moved back to Portland.
Okay. Where were you living abroad?
I was in China.
Oh, really? What city?
Yeah, so I was in Wuhan for a year. I taught at a university there, taught English.
Okay, what year was that?
It was 2009.
Okay, I was teaching English in Nanjing at that time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, small world.
Yeah. And Wuhan is recently very famous.
Yes, yeah, everybody knows it now. Used to say it and people be like, I don't know what that means. Now I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's got it. And then I was in Shanghai for another 3 years.
Oh God, beautiful city.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Shanghai for just for 6 months when I studied abroad.
Oh yeah.
And it's still like, I mean, of course that time in college is like super formative, but for me, just the idea coming from Salem, Oregon, of being able to like be in the city of 20 million people, but being able to meet somebody anywhere in the city in half an hour because of the subway was just like such a difference for me. I don't know about how you felt about that, but
so revolutionary. I was living in Wuhan, and then a group of us over October break went into Shanghai, and you know, take the train into the city, and you get off the train in the middle of kind of nowhere, and you get on the metro system. Yeah. And coming to Shanghai, we came into People's Square. Yeah. Which if you've never
that's
been,
right where I lived, yeah.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So then you're very familiar with this. It's if you've not been to Shanghai, it's like coming into New York City and seeing it for the first time in the middle of Central Park. Yeah. You're just like giant park surrounded by skyscrapers.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow, this is magical. I love this.
And the train that you take into the city also goes like 500 kilometers an hour. Like it's like
all of these
maglev. Yeah, on the maglev train is like
yeah, these rail systems. I'm so envious of that. Even like 14, 15 years that I've been back in the U.S. and like, oh gosh, we need more of that in America.
Wow, so you speak Chinese then, or?
Very poorly. I could talk to my landlord and order food and fight with the cab driver.
There you go.
That's the way to get places.
There you go. So then, how did you get from that? Did you come back and were you teaching then, or?
So I taught in Wuhan, moved to Shanghai, taught briefly, and then worked in event management and PR.
Oh, okay.
And did a lot of like odd jobbing around.
Oh, you had the American salary with the Chinese?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. That was everyone's dream. Like all the expats in China were like trying to get the American job with the Chinese lifestyle. Yeah.
Working for a lot of different smaller Chinese companies or expat-owned companies. Worked for a couple of different bar and restaurant groups. Managed a nightclub.
Oh, fun.
Did a lot of like random stuff in my early 20s, and then moved back to Portland. Just kind of. It was time to stop Peter Panning, if you will. And then my dad had actually been in real estate for most of my life.
So you had the background.
Yeah. And when I got home, I was kind of deciding what to do. I visited a couple of friends for like, informational like things at different jobs, went to San Francisco to see some friends, and was like, oh, I want to work in like marketing. When I was 26, I was like, yeah, of course I want to work in marketing. I don't know what that means. And really realized that a lot of the skills that I'd gained when living in China was a lot of relationship based, a lot of nepotism or guanxi.
If you're promoting a club, that's 100%.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But my dad was like, okay, well, I can pay you to help me with my real estate business. And I was like, okay, well, that's better than sitting at home not getting paid and watching Food Network, because it does not pay, unfortunately. And so I started working alongside him, doing a lot of like organizing for the tax year, because it was kind of the end of 2013. And I just started to see like, oh, real estate's a lot more interesting, because like as a real estate, like second generation real estate kid, I hated real estate growing up.
Oh yeah,
right.
It took a lot of time. I felt like
sorry, I can't go to your game because I'm selling houses.
Yeah, or
thanks, Dad.
Family vacation. So we were talking about parenting earlier, but like as a parent of a child and as a realtor, I try to be very intentional about like if I have to make a call, like letting my daughter know, okay, I have to make a call right now for work. It's going to be 5 minutes and then I'll be done with it. Just so that she feels a little bit more, I don't know if empowered is the word, but like she just has more of an understanding.
What's going to happen and how to move forward.
What are the boundaries around it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, growing up, real estate kid, hated real estate. Then my dad was like, well, I'll pay you. And I was like, okay, I guess that's it.
No, I love real estate.
I love real estate. It's great. But he played a really great long game. I think his intention was for me to always take over his business.
Oh, wow.
And he saw that I had a lot of kind of the same personality type or skill set that allowed him to be very successful. So I started working alongside him. He introduced me a lot of very successful solo real estate, female real estate agents who were in his office at the time. I hadn't really thought about what I wanted, like income goals at that time in my life, but started realizing like, oh, real estate is so dependent on how hard you work. And if you're willing to work really hard, you can build a really incredible life through that. So then I got licensed in 2020 or 2004. Oh my gosh, 2014.
Okay.
And shortly thereafter, my dad went on a 3-month or 2-month motorcycle trip around North America. Oh. And was kind of
like, well, you're licensed now. Yeah.
You're licensed now.
Here's my book.
Pretty much.
Technically, you can do this now. You can go open doors. I'm fine.
Figure it out. So I just had a lot of like varied experience starting out, which was really great. I liked that a lot. I feel like sometimes newer agents get pigeonholed into like working with one type of client. And so I saw like land deals and luxury and condos and first-time home buyers.
So he had a pretty big business.
Yeah, he sold real estate in Portland for about 25 years.
Wow.
And you're saying you had that range of deals because your dad had already had a kind of pretty varied client base.
Yeah. So
I found that like when I started too was I worked as an assistant for somebody who had clients that made a ton of money and clients that made no money and then clients that were salaried and clients that were doing reverse mortgages. Yeah. I think it's so valuable when you're starting to have that experience of doing different deals. Yeah.
I think it just gives you a lot of different perspective, which is why, like, kind of skipping forward into building a team, shrinking and building again, is allowing agents to work with buyers and sellers and not pigeonholing an agent kind of like a traditional like buyer's agent role or a seller's agent role. Because I know in my own experience working with a really varied kind of clientele as well as working on both sides of the transactions, representing buyers or sellers, just allowed me to have so much more experience and give me a different perspective than I think you sometimes get in a more traditional level.
I love that because like so much I feel like people talk about, oh, you got to specialize. You got to be the best at one thing. And I mean, yes, like that can be helpful, especially for marketing, right? It's like the classic lender that markets doctor loans or something like that. And it's like, okay, but like, is that all you're going to do?
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. And I think it just makes you more versatile and gives you a greater skill set that you've just seen a lot more things. So you can really kind of like bring like, oh, I ran into this a couple years ago and like, let's bring that skill set back to the table.
Nice. Yeah. And I'm always curious about, so in real estate, that handoff between whether it's father, daughter, or just like, someone in your company that's retiring and because in like in insurance and financial planning, for example, you have a book that has like recurring income, right? That it's like you can put a valuation on it. You can sell it on the market, or you can, whatever, pass it on to someone. In real estate, it's more like you have your sphere, and maybe there is a handoff there. But how do you make that successful? Because both in mortgage and real estate, I find that handoff isn't an easy thing to do.
It's not. My business is very relational, and my dad's was as well. And it was, in some ways, it was really great because people already knew that I was his daughter. My dad's very family oriented, so like he would talk about family and stuff with a lot of his clients. And
okay, so they already kind of knew of you.
Yeah, but it also a little bit of a double-edged sword because there were a lot of people who knew I was Ralph's daughter.
And they're like 30 years older.
Felt like I didn't have the right kind of experience.
Feel like what do they call it? Like a Nepo baby in a sense?
Nepo baby.
Oh, Nepo baby. Yeah.
I wish. I wouldn't be sitting here, guys. But yeah, so there were like really great things that came along with that, and I certainly built a lot of my business, or especially early on, from his past clients or referrals and stuff from that. But it also worked against me in some ways because there are people who specifically didn't want to work with me because they still saw me as a little kid, or like somebody who my dad would talk about their dance recitals and stuff. And that also unfortunately happened with some of his long-term business partners as well, particularly a couple of lenders who he'd worked with for a long time, who kind of assumed, I was 26, 27, 28 at this time, who kind of assumed all of people I was bringing in were really young and inexperienced. And I was like, no, these are folks like working at Intel and Nike and like have really great jobs and really good income, but because they were connected to me, they just kind of got bunched into like, oh, they're young.
Oh,
weird.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's
well,
interesting. I can see how that could happen, but that's just interesting to me.
I think that's just kind of older people in business sometimes make assumptions about younger people.
I feel like that there's a big age divide in real estate, like I said, because I'm part of the PMAR group, and I'm like almost 40, and I'm like the youngest person there, Right. So it's a big older group that, like have their biases against, millennials and Gen X.
And we're all middle-aged as millennials.
Yeah. Sorry, we're millennials, but they have their biases against us. Like, we're the young people.
Personally, I'm so excited when I get like a younger client to work with. It's like, but yeah.
Well, and that's the same thing. I'm on the RMLS board of directors, and same thing. I'm the youngest person on that board by a bit. And like most of the people on it are incredible and have like a ton of experience, but we just don't have kind of a younger generation in really any leadership organizations that I see in our industry of people in their like late 20s, early 30s, because I was involved in PMAR from the get-go. I
went to the Oregon Realtor Spring Conference, and I swear I was the youngest person. There might have been one person younger than me by a few months. Yeah. Did you accidentally stumble in here? What's going on? But okay, so you had all these biases against you, and I'll just say I think you have an amazing business now.
Thank you.
So what did you do to kind of overcome like some of these like biases and things like that were going on in your business?
I still had a much easier start because I came into a business that was existing, and I was able to take on a lot of those referrals and stuff. So my entry wasn't nearly as challenging as somebody who came in like from zero. So I want to recognize that for sure. But parts of it were having to really build out what I wanted my business to look like, and not because, again, my dad and I are similar in some ways, but very different in other ways. He had a ton of experience in building and development. He worked with a lot of builders in the 90s and early 2000s, and that just wasn't something that I had in my back pocket by any means. So I really
that language is like. There's real estate language, and then there's development language, and they're not.
Yeah, they
have some overlap, but not a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And again, those are long time legacy relationships that people also have.
Yeah.
So I really kind of had to look at my business and be like, okay, this is a great kind of start to get in and to have kind of some reoccurring business coming out of that, which was super helpful to allow me to have a little bit of that flexibility to say, okay, what do I want everything else to look like?
Yeah.
And at that time, I was really fortunate to just be attending a couple of conferences, particularly Keller Williams Family Reunion and some other things along that line, and just start to build up networking relationships with other agents around the country. And that has really been a huge asset to my business over the last dozen years. We probably 50% of our business is probably agent referrals.
Oh, wow.
Both buyers and sellers.
From local agents or all from out of
nationally.
town? Nationally.
I was going to say, like, I've been to one Keller Williams family reunion with you, and then you just disappeared.
Yeah.
You were just gone. I was like, where'd she go?
I always apologize to people in our office, but I'm like, I'm not here to hang out with you. I'm here to, like,
we're here to work.
Yeah, I'm trying to get... Yeah, I'm trying to pay for this conference.
You're not going to send me any referrals.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, can you tell me? Tell me about this, like building these relationships nationwide. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you get those connections? Like, do you have to be a people person, like outgoing and all this stuff? Do you have to go to the bars and talk? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So, I kind of stumbled into it, to be perfectly honest, at my first family reunion in 2017. I think my office had somehow referred me to another agent. Like, an agent had called in the office, and that agent was looking for somebody to refer a client to, and our office like distributed it out to me. And so I got to know that agent a little bit, and he was really, really well connected into kind of like referral networks and that sort of stuff. So at that first family reunion that I went to in Vegas, I think that was 2017, he invited me to an event, and at that event I met probably a half dozen or a dozen agents that I still know to this day.
Wow.
And that I still refer to or I'm in relationship with, or just like really built out networks through some of those folks. So that was really critical in building out that. It's attending a lot of those events. I mean, I'm super active on Facebook, or I used to be super active on Facebook. I'm trying to get back into it. I've gotten a little bit burnt out by social media.
Constant battle.
State of the world.
Yeah.
But a lot of those relationships are constantly being nurtured through Facebook or text threads or different like group chats and stuff that we have ongoing. A lot of the referrals do come directly through Facebook, so there's millions probably at this point, but millions of Facebook referral groups. So agents will post in a referral group with 5,000 people,
I've seen those,
5,000 agents in it, saying like, I need an agent in Portland, Oregon, and because I'm very active within the relationships with other agents, like through those group chats, and just like people know that I'm in Portland, and so I'll get tagged often in that.
Oh, nice.
The agent who's placing the referral will usually reach out to me. I'll probably reach out to them as well if I can find their contact information easily.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you ever go in and just tag, hey, I'm available yourself?
Yeah, I'll tag myself.
Because that's a lot of people to know to, like, hey, to recommend you, you know?
Yeah, it's really great. I'm very flattered anytime anyone recommends me, because I realize it's a representation or extension of themselves that they'll say my name. So I'm like, I have to live up to those expectations of any referral partners, because they're putting their name next to mine, and so that's a lot of trust that's being placed. But like, I have a whole little canned script that I send to the agent who's placing the referral right away, just explaining who I am and the way that our team works, and that I'll be working with the client directly, and we focus on education and advocacy, and here's a link to all of our reviews on Google. So I really like have that mapped out and have built a system around that, and then we have a follow-up system with those agents as well, because we do oftentimes agents will place a referral with somebody who maybe doesn't have the experience to handle it, and we often get kind of like the second try.
Oh, you mean like they let it slip, or they didn't follow up, or they didn't come back to the agent with the paperwork, or things like that?
Things like that, where it just like the first placement didn't work out, and so I stay in touch with those agents, because I have found that there is still things to come out of it.
So you'd say you'd follow up with your agent referrals probably as much as your clients, in a sense? Since if it's like half your business.
Yeah, in different ways, for sure. And it's going to different conferences for sure. I host a fairly large event at Family Reunion that we usually have about 300 to 400 people attend.
Oh wow! Where's my invite? I'm kidding.
You're in Portland. You're not invited.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm not gonna put you in front of all my friends. You're great. But it's a lot. No, you're fine. Next year. But there's just a lot of like nurturing those kind of relationships that is ongoing. It's quite a bit more organic than what I would say we do with our database or past clients. But I was actually thinking about this today. We're changing into a new CRM right now. And so I'm organizing a lot of database and thinking about like organizing, our agent database as well. And how do I get more consistent touches about that?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, that's hundreds of agents. I mean, how do you interact with them? Is it just messaging them for their birthdays, or what is like the formula there? Is it a newsletter?
There is no formula.
Okay.
It's not I wish I would love to have a formula. I want to build one. But a lot of it is just like Facebook. My Facebook is really annoying because I don't actually see anybody that I'm friends with. I just see real estate agents.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at my feed, it's almost exclusively real estate.
I think that's all of our businesses at this point. Yeah.
Well, so the fun, I think that's kind of earlier why I said like I'm not on social media. I'm not on Facebook as much as I used to be because it feels simply work now, and I don't have like the fun engagement relationship stuff that I used to. But I'm sure I could fix the algorithm some way. I just don't know how.
That's the hard part. I mean, we're all individually marketing ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think of Instagram as work. You know, even if I am posting like, oh, I'm playing basketball, all this, it's like, no, it's because I want you to refresh my story so you see my real estate content.
Yeah,
you know,
I want you to watch my story. It's like I recently did an endurance hike at the end of June, and I was posting really.
Here in the area?
Yeah, it's an event called 29029 Everesting, and so you hike the equivalent of doing an ascent of Mount Everest.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God.
It's hard. But
Which is how far?
29,029 feet.
Okay. 29,000 feet up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that at Crystal Mountain up by Mount Rainier, and
oh, cool.
I was posting about that a bunch leading up to it, and then throughout the event I was doing a lot of updates and everything, and my like traction or like the number of views and everything was really, really high, and I had tons of engagement. And I'm like, oh, okay. So but following that, I had so many clients reach out to check in, and then ended up talking about real estate stuff, and so many agent people check in and end up talking about real estate stuff and everything. And I think that the point that you make is like posting about basketball to stay top of mind is really important for people who are building more organic relationships. Is like people want to work with people they like. Like we hear that all the time, but you have to let people into your life so that they can figure out if they like you.
You don't want to be friends with a real estate robot.
No.
Yeah, like only just sold, just pending.
Yeah,
right? I'm showing homes.
That's really boring.
I have other things to do, you know. No, I get that.
Yeah. So, but it's like, what is that kind of engagement? How can we make it more fun instead of feeling like work?
Yeah, I mean, it's all work. You know, but it's, I mean, I would say this. I mean, like, you know, I have some fun engagement. Like it's the conversations that are fun, and then they lead into real estate, and then it turns into work, which it's fine. I mean, you know, I like making money, so it's okay. You know,
could be worse.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, you know, I just say this. I know you're getting some traction in the business. You've done well. I mean, I saw you in what was it, Real Producers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to. I mean, I kind of just want to hear how your business has kind of evolved over the last couple of years. I mean, we have AI, we have a lot of new technologies. Obviously, you're switching to a new CRM for a reason. Like, how are you optimizing and growing your business?
That's a good question. So I had. It was myself and a director of operations for a number of years, and then my daughter was born in 2021, and I kind of, I mean, I'll say this publicly, I got really annoyed with our clients asking for normal real estate things, like to go see houses, and I was like, oh, this is an interesting level of burnout. I need support. So I hired...
Right, something that you used to get psyched when somebody was like, oh yeah, I'd love to tour a home with you, right?
It was just like, what are your priorities now? What is the kind of points of leverage? How can I stay in my like area of expertise, which is really like advising clients, negotiating. Where can I find some ease to like be able to really do the things that I enjoy doing, and like really I love to strategize like long-term planning with clients as well. so realized I had to like rethink of how I was managing the business, because I was a high producing solo agent. We were selling between 40 to 50 homes by myself every year.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, we have to change this. So I brought in a showing agent who became a buyer's agent for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. She then went in a different direction. So then we brought in a couple of people off and on over the past few years. And I'm just trying to really figure out, what do I want the business to look like over the next 5 years. New director of operations started with us in February, and she's very tech-enabled, really understands AI, has a ton of experience in building systems and scaling.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I'm really excited about, is as we get a lot of these systems up and into play with support of AI, because I'm probably not the right person to ask questions about like what we're doing, but it's a lot of like plugging in different systems so they can talk to each other, but realizing for any of that to be functioning properly, I need to have our database so incredibly organized. And so that's what I've been really focused on. It sounds silly and stupid, but Missy was talking about the other day of like, if you were starting over, what would you be doing? Like, how would you be organizing your database? And I was like, I would be so diligently organized with everything, because now I'm going back through a dozen years of clients and trying to source all of them, trying to like just do all of that retroactively.
Oh, that's a pain.
Oh,
like looking on past emails, like what did we do?
Who is this person?
So it's a lot of that, which is it is easy, but it is really time consuming.
Yeah.
I feel like the database is almost the heart. Like, if you talk to 20 real estate agents, 18 of them don't have their database figured out.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Like, I mean, it's so hard. Like, I think in the mortgage world it's a little bit different, because we have so much data on every person, and you like have to retain your records by law for a certain period of time. So like, your company stores a lot of it, first of all, and second of all, it's pretty easy to like just dump everything into a spreadsheet. So like, even if you don't have a dialed in CRM, like we at least have access to all the information that's like name, date of birth, like, all that
we should
stuff.
Have all of that, but it's more like, I've got everybody's name, I've got everybody's email addresses and phone numbers and stuff. It's more the way that I want to segment out, like, okay, you bought a house in 2023 and you bought a house in 2018.
Right.
And like having all of that kind of stuff that I really want to be able to look at.
Yeah, that flow is actually not the easiest thing to put into a CRM.
No.
Because it's like, you have this transaction from this date, but then sometimes it like overlaps on the other one.
Yeah,
and just
it's
doesn't...
figuring out what is the logic and like how to organize it to answer whatever your questions are going to be. But
right.
You have to like kind of like know what are your questions before you have them to make sure that the CRM can then answer it. So that's a lot of the back and forth we've been working on.
It's like helping you retain that relationship you would have with a friend. It's like, of course I know that you bought then and then bought again then, and you had this problem then, and but like you can remember that when you're working with them, but then 7 years later, how do you remember that?
Yeah, and like we've helped over 500 families and folks, and it starts to be like, okay,
you don't remember all that?
I should. It's probably in a text message somewhere, because I've never deleted a text.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so it's a huge lift right now, which I'm very excited. I'm excited about, because of what the end result will be. If you talk to me on a normal day.
I mean, you know the dates that they bought. You know that like generally, like, hey, are you ready to sell 7 years later? You're not going to want to send that email to someone who just bought their house. I'm sure you want to like kind of craft these like unique messages to people who.
It's a lot of kind of different automation campaigns and stuff, and what does that look like, and how are we like bringing value to people, and kind of a differentiator within our business is we're really community oriented. We have a number of nonprofits that we work with throughout the year. We started a sack lunch building event that we do monthly in support of Blanche House, and that's just been a really fun thing it fills my soul a lot and brings me a lot of gratitude for the kind of work that we get to do within real estate and just bringing people together. So it's like, how do we build our business around that a bit more than just your generic real estate buying and selling. Like,
love that.
We do that at a really high level, but it's a little bit more than that.
Totally. Yeah, it's always like, how do you build community in the way you want to build it? Can that be automated? Should it be automated? Like, what parts can be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What feels organic?
Right.
What feels like oh, this is like forced at this point, and how do we not get to a point where anything feels like inauthentic?
Yeah. I did have a question about just kind of like, you know, going from solo to creating your company, Sonder Northwest.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like how did the business feel different? Because like obviously they're contacting you directly, and they still do, I'm sure. Yeah. But how did you kind of craft this business of yours?
Good question. I mean, some of it was out of necessity, like I mentioned. I just was like, something has to change. So growth was the only option that I saw through that. I think it was getting clear about we can serve more people at a high level when people are able to specialize or do what they do best. And then also we can have a greater impact on our community and do better, more interesting things, provide better service to people, provide better service to our community on the whole when we're a larger group. So that was definitely a piece of it. And then I've also been mulling this over a whole lot recently, is how I made the transition from being at that point of when you're a solo agent, the typical stuck point is about 20 transactions. When you're working by yourself, you can't get through that because you're in the wave. Oh, you're really strongly in the wave. You're either busy or you're dead, or you're busy or you're dead. And you're trying to do everything all by yourself. And I was able to kind of break through that gap into being a high producing solo agent and figuring out what are the systems that I had in place that allowed me to do that, and how do I build those systems out on a larger scale for other agents who are kind of in that stuck point. In that point where, you know, you're selling, you've figured out how to lead gen mostly, you've figured out how to sell real estate, but then how do you do more of it and get out of your own way, essentially. And so I'm trying to spend a lot of time thinking about that and like, oh, okay, I did it. How can I help other people do that? And not necessarily like maybe through coaching, but I think more in like, what are the systems in place that we had and that we're building right now that we could use as a value proposition, honestly, to recruit people into the team to say, okay, you're selling a lot of homes, but your expenses are probably out of control. You're spending money that you don't know you're spending. You're just kind of like, you don't know how to grow. And this is the path forward with us.
So I'm assuming you don't just let anybody on your team. Can you kind of talk about just your team's culture and what you want out of the agents who are on your team and what you expect? You cracking the whip?
That's good. That's a good question. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently just in recruiting is how to identify motivation. Where does motivation show up in people's lives as examples of that then will translate in the willingness to kind of do anything to make it work, to figure it out. Like I think living as an expat and having some of that experiences, I believe anything's figure outable.
Oh yeah.
When you're 22 and you have to.
You can't get on the train unless you can talk to them in Chinese. Like, and if you want to get across the country, you got to get on trains.
Yeah, so exactly. So you got to figure it out.
Figure it out.
And so I look for that skill a lot because I like people who are problem solving. I really like coaching, but I also want people to be really proactive in like, okay, here's a problem. Here's where I think the solution is. Let's talk through, is this the proper solution for it? So that kind of like that piece of motivation, being hungry, wanting to be successful, having that like internal drive that like, oh, like I want this a whole lot, not being a lifelong learner. I think that's really important, being really like education focused, and also having the deep desire to help people, and not just help the people that we're serving, but help people like
just in general
like holistically. Like I'm such a believer that the rising tide lifts all ships, so like if everyone is doing better, I will also do better. So my intention is to like make sure like we're living in a world where like everyone is able to like live fulfilling lives, and how can we be helping move that ball forward. Also there's something else that I was going I'll probably circle back to it.
Yeah. Well, how big is your team now?
Right now it's just 3 of us. It's myself, Anna, one of my business partners, and Chelsea, our director of operations.
Okay.
And that's been intentional the last couple of months, is as we've been making this CRM switch and revisiting a lot of our systems, I want to make sure we have things in place that I feel really comfortable and confident with before I begin. Because like I can tell people like this is what we have, but unless we actually have it, that would feel really uncomfortable to me.
Oh yeah.
So getting a lot of clarity. So it is an intentional slowdown to speed up as much as I want to be running.
Yeah, and I mean, do you have an end goal in mind for the business?
End goal, I think it would be really powerful to have a group of 5 or 6 agents who are all working in collaboration. A part of kind of like building out this team model, whatever concept, of like people who are high producing and want to be producing more is also that I'm drowning. I have no freedom. I have no time off. Because I went through that stage, I was making a lot more money than I think I ever thought I would, and I also had no freedom. I was working. I was a slave to my phone.
When you're on vacation, you're working.
I couldn't go on vacation. If I like went for a hike and I was out of service for like 2 hours, I would like have incredible anxiety because like, what if somebody needs to see? What if somebody wants to show a home? Because I was like so available to our clients, which is great, and I cannot fault clients. Again, they're simply asking for real estate. They're asking me to do my job. And so figuring out how do I give people freedom as well. And so part of the model that I want to be building towards is having a like real on-call system. Okay. So that you as an agent can say, okay, I want to spend a whole weekend camping off-grid. And you do not freak out because you trust that like, okay, there's 2 people who are on call who are on call and available, and they can pick up and they have enough information around where my clients are at, and my clients understand that like for me to serve you best, I also have to have a little bit of a personal life, but you are very well taken care of.
Yeah.
So that is another piece that I think about a lot.
Yeah, well, I've heard about other agents who are like, these are my office hours, 9 to 6. I'm not available after that. I'll get back to you tomorrow. But it seems like I'm sure you want to be available for your clients.
Yeah, I want to be available. I mean, my clients all know I have a 5-year-old, and if I tell them like, hey, you know what? Family time is from after school, usually 5 o'clock till 8:30. Like I will be available if there's a timeline or a deadline that we are attempting to meet, or like if something really desperately needs to happen. But if not, like, can we talk after bedtime? And in setting some of those boundaries and expectations, I've really not had any pushback. Most of our clients are super respectful of that. And they also, I have built that trust with them that like, oh, Megan is super responsive in the hours that she is available to us.
And when she needs to be.
And when she needs to be.
Yeah.
But if she has said like, hey, can I talk to you at 8:30? Because then I'll be able to like focus and I won't have like Bluey screaming at me in the background. They're like, okay, yeah, that's no problem. Or if I know that they have like really weird alternative weird work hours, I'll make it work.
Totally.
And I think that is just like building that level of trust.
Well, you know, with the amount of clients that you have, do you have, when you're like, I don't know, in the middle of something and you get a text, hey, we need to talk, and you set those times, you just like throw in your calendar, how do you manage like getting back to people?
Good question. I mean, a lot of it goes on my calendar.
Yeah.
You were asking about AI stuff. I have figured out how to get Claude to add stuff directly to my calendar.
Nice.
So that's helpful. I am also a really weird person about working out of drafts in my email, and I have Claude write up a lot of drafts that are mostly just to-do lists.
Yeah.
Because I'm in my email so much, and I'm looking at my drafts so much that it is kind of where all my to-dos sit.
Interesting.
But I also have a handwritten notebook that I work out of every day, and so there's a lot of moving pieces. So in a perfect world, I would streamline that quite a bit more, but it kind of works for my brain at this stage.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just totally switching gears. Part of the reason we do this podcast is to talk a little bit about investing ourselves in real estate. I'm assuming that you work with investors pretty regularly. Do you invest as well?
Not yet. I have great plans to. I recently am divorced, and so I've kind of like done a financial reset on some of my bits and pieces, but have some like different goals of. I live in Terra Linda, just here in Cedar Mill.
Okay.
And there are probably a dozen or 15 duplexes in that neighborhood, and I really want to buy one, and my parents are aging, so I would like to have it available for them when,
nice.
If and when they need a different housing situation. So that's kind of the nearer term, but it's also because of where we live in Oregon, housing is very expensive here.
Oh, yeah.
Super expensive.
So I also have kind of longer term plans of diversifying in different markets that just like you can get more bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're thinking about investing out of state. Do you have any idea of like where in particular?
Some areas of Ohio I think are really interesting. So unfortunately, a lot of the places that are really good for investors aren't necessarily places that I want to be putting tax dollars into. But that is, there's a couple of different areas, but Ohio has been really kind of like higher on my list recently just because the returns there seem to be good from agents that I'm talking to.
Yeah, I've heard that in Indiana.
In Indiana, so like some of those like upper, I don't understand the Midwest.
I've never been, so.
I lived in the Midwest for a while. It was interesting because one of my professors just posted like a listing for his house, and it was like the same. I mean, it was a small town in Iowa, Grinnell College. It was in Grinnell, Iowa, and there's I think 8,000 people in the town, and I think he posted the house for like $160. It's like a 2,400 square foot, and I think like the prices were the same when I was there. Like, you know, I guess almost nearly 15, 20 years ago now. Like,
it's definitely like,
not that I paid attention to real estate prices then, but it's just interesting.
It's definitely like when you're thinking about that investment, you're like, okay, are you looking for somewhere where it's going to see huge appreciation, or are you looking for cash flow?
Right.
Because it's rare to find like both. So it's okay, this portion of your portfolio, this is like long-term appreciation, or this is like, I need really great cash flow on it. So it's figuring that out. But I think you were about to ask like about different investment things?
Yeah, just like your different investment plans, other states, things like that. So
so personally I haven't ventured there yet, but it's certainly on the short.
I mean, that's the nice thing about having partners in other markets is it gives you perspective, right? And it gives you someone, because it's like, it's great to read stories about and learn about and look at the metrics, but then it's a whole nother thing to actually purchase there
on the ground
with someone that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Someone you don't know, things break.
Yeah, like, do you have a network there that you can
trust? Do you have contractors?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's definitely a big component to it. And like, okay, not only do I have like trusted real estate professionals in different places, I trust that they have trusted vendors and property management companies and all that stuff.
Which I think is an overlooked piece of investment, especially in your first one, right? Is that part of maintenance? Because like, you think of it being passive investment, but it's not. I mean, you can't. It on taxes, sure, maybe it is, but it's not really completely passive.
Yeah, which is why we work with a lot of investors, so I'm always like, budget in property management. Like, I think that is a really key component. You guys may do your own management.
A little bit of both.
Mixed, yeah.
But I think particularly for someone who is outside of the industry, it's beneficial, especially on your first one, to just like have that additional like supplemental thing if you can.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially if it's not local. I know some people who do their own property management for out of state, and I don't know how they do it. That's crazy.
I don't want to be calling a plumber in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh yeah, I just got hit with a really bad plumbing bill for a property. And anyway, yeah, and it was like too late to fix it. Like, I didn't have a choice.
The trauma.
Yeah. So if you were thinking about starting over in terms of like investing, maybe it was like your first home or your first investment, with the knowledge that you have and with the clients that you've worked with, like, what would be your I mean, obviously every person is different, but like, what would be a strategy that you might recommend to a client?
I'd start with buying multifam, living in one, and then flipping it over.
Like getting a duplex or a triplex or something.
Getting a triplex, living in one side, renting there for a couple, so you can use those lower down payment programs, and then living there for a couple of years, and then refinancing out of it. Not a great market for that right now, but still, to keep moving forward. I have this amazing couple that I've worked with in 2021. They used his VA loan to buy a fourplex.
Oh, nice.
And had their closing costs covered. So zero down. Fourplex, I mean, East County, so it's a little bit far out. But then rates were still low, so they refinanced out of that after, I think they VA loan. I think he was in there for 2 years, refinanced out of that in 2023, and bought a single family home where they live with their 2 kids.
Nice.
With, again, zero down.
With zero down VA program again. Yeah, restored his entitlement.
And
now
probably has a real estate portfolio of nearly $1.5 million, $2 million.
Yeah.
With putting nothing down. Like that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, like, it seems like, oh, you have to be a veteran to do that, but like now you can do that 5% down conventionally.
Oh,
like,
FHA.
FHA, you can do 3.5%. I mean, good luck doing FHA 3.5 because it doesn't really work in our market. But
it worked when I did it.
Yeah.
Because I got a 4.
Yeah, that's true. You did it.
Yeah.
FHA 5% down on my first 4-plex.
Yeah. And the down payment assistance programs, I think you can use for multifamily,
Yep,
right?
you can. Yep.
Like some of those Oregon bond.
Yeah, the Oregon bond program works for that.
I think that's like even now I'm nearly 40. If my life looked a little bit differently, that's what I would still be doing. So if
I love that. Yeah.
If anyone is in that, I mean, really any range, I think it's such a great opportunity.
I mean, to your point too, it's like you're starting by buying a primary, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're converting to buying another primary. So it's just like conceptually, it's the also the thing that people can understand the easiest, right? Yeah. Versus like trying to run all the spreadsheet and metrics of buying an investment property. It's very straightforward. You're buying a place and then you're going to buy another place and convert it.
I think sometimes people have a little bit of trouble wrapping their head around as like, oh, my primary residence, I don't want it to be a shared. Like, I don't want it to be a duplex.
Oh, I'm not doing that with my family right now.
Yeah, I'm not
when you're like your late 20s, when you're trying to buy your first property, like you can make some sacrifices early on, so that when you do have your family, you have like these rental properties and money coming in, so you can get that nice house.
1,000%. Yeah. I wish like that had been on my radar when I was much younger.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we've had people on the show talk about doing something similar, except just with a single family and then renting out rooms. Which is even more.
It's a good start. At these prices, I think that's what you kind of got to do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I know you have a hard out at 1:30, but I wanted to ask you just one more quick question about like if you were starting, not you, but if you were to advise someone getting into real estate now, how they should like kind of get started and run their business. What would you recommend?
Especially in this market.
Yeah, this market right now. Brand new agent.
Control your database. Like I said before, label everyone. Know who they are. Know how you met them. I think like that sounds silly, but you'll be really, really thankful for it later. And be willing to work really, really hard for a couple of years. I think social media and TV shows and everything have made it seem like this is easy, but it's not. And eventually you get to a point, if you do this long enough, where you slowly start to have people text you because they got your number from a past client.
Yeah.
That does not happen overnight. And
that takes years.
That takes years. That takes years of having an organized database. But just know you're going to have to work hard. Like if you're going to do open houses, you need to do 1,000 open houses. If you're going to become an expert at anything, you need to do it so much and so often. And that's one of the things, again, I see a lot right now is newer agents just don't want to work that hard. Or maybe they're working hard in a different way that I'm
or like
not
different
seeing.
strategies. Yeah, because like, do you feel like these strategies of going to conferences and then following up with those agents, doing the old things that we did when we started, are those obsolete? Like,
that's a really good question.
You know what I mean? Like, because now people getting in, it's like, I'm just going to build a social media profile. I'm going to do this. Are these old methods that we are tried and true that we continue to do? Are they like, do you get the same return on them?
Yes and no. So I think there is still juice in all of those methods. I think you need to really be intentional with those methods. If you're going to do open houses, you need to be doing them all the time. You need to have a really great system of how do you get people's contact information when they're coming in, because people are coming into open houses all the time with agents, or they say they are. So like, what is the value add and differentiator? Just for example of open houses or the conferences, like what makes you stand out? Because I also see a lot of agents, even locally, who have 15, 20,000 followers on Instagram, but then I go look at their production and I'm like, oh, you sold 8 houses last year. So you're creating a ton of content
right.
that looks great and you're getting a ton of hits and 1 million views and stuff, but you're not actually selling any homes.
Yeah, the idea of like the impressions versus the conversions, right? You might have 10 million views, but no conversion, right? Versus 100 views and 1 lead out of it.
Yeah,
right?
it's funny because I think the top producing EXP agent in Texas, he does YouTube videos, and I follow him, and he gets like 400 views per video. Not crazy or anything, but he does, like, I think he's done $100 million this year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You just don't need, you need the right people.
Yeah,
not just.
And so I would say, kind of like in tandem with that, is figuring out what is your niche. Not that you have to specifically like only work with that niche, but like we've the past couple of years have really figured out, because of our agent referral business, we get referred a lot of elderly folks or their children who are managing their estate after someone passes away or after mom and dad is moving into assisted living or something like that. So that's a listing niche that we have. I think this year we've probably sold 4 listings from that, like in that category.
And that, I feel like that's like super complicated stuff a lot of times, because there's like, I mean, not always, right, but a lot of time there's like this complicated estate and trust with it that's like
estates, trusts, managing a lot of like emotions that come along with that.
Yeah, and multiple parties instead of multiple decision makers is always hard.
Yeah, so like that is a bit of a niche that I want to start talking about more on our social media and stuff, because I really enjoy that, because it comes from a place like, oh, I know I can help these people, because this is complex and it doesn't need to be, you're not doing it alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting segment too, because it gets you with other professions, right? It gets you with attorneys, gets you with CPAs.
Yeah, certainly.
Financial advisors are often involved in all those decisions. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget how we close out. It's been so long since we've done a podcast.
It's like high fives.
I mean, we asked the 2 main questions, right? Yeah. We asked the first-time investor, and we asked the
well,
building business.
I know you got to run, but no, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
If someone wanted to get a hold of you,
that's how we end it. Okay, yeah. If someone wanted to get a hold of you, how could they find you?
Our website is Sonder, SONDERNW.com, and Instagram is Sonder_NW. Do you want to give my phone number? My phone number is 503-804-4049. And my email is megan@sondernw.com. And
thanks so much, Megan. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, Megan.